Living in the English countryside, there are a few facts of life, things that you just have to deal with. One is rain, two is mud, and three is animals. Animals of all shapes and sizes. And of course, some are a lot bigger than others. For instance, if you go up into the South Downs for a walk, like I do a lot, you're bound to meet them. Usually, you see flocks of sheep up here, but on some days, you might run into herds of cows, just like this bunch here, wearing their big brown fur coats and having a picnic in all kinds of weather. So these are Sussex cattle, one of the UK's ancient breeds that's said to be really docile, but also really hardy. They don't mind being outside in the cold and the rain. So basically, they're out here year-round. Hello. You're very cute. They're descended from cattle that used to roam the downs at the time of the Norman conquest, and they were bred to pull plows. These days, they have it a lot easier. Their job is simple: stand around all day and eat. And because they're so good at that, they're used as conservation workers all across the South Downs. It's known appropriately as conservation grazing. Here's the idea. The cattle eat or graze basically 24/7 and help to maintain these chalky grasslands by controlling aggressive species of plant that would otherwise dominate an area. Think of them as nature's weed whackers. They remove the unwanted vegetation and create space for more desirable plants. And because all the constant nibbling stimulates growth, it keeps these downlands and heathlands from becoming scrub. If you venture out and come across cattle, you'll quickly notice there are no fences and no electric wires. So they're kind of like free-range cattle. They go wherever they want, within limits. It looks like they're wearing traditional cowbells, but they're actually high-tech solar-powered GPS collars, so the owners can keep track of them and restrict their movements. The cows hear a tone if they get close to an established boundary. If they keep going, then they feel a weak electrical pulse, which is usually enough to make them stop in their tracks and turn back. So it's not unusual to come around a bend and find a confused cow just standing there, staring at you. And it's not just Sussex cattle up here. Very often we find a herd of belted Galloway cows munching away. They kind of look like big cuddly pandas, and you kind of just want to go over and give them a hug. Of course, some people are afraid of cattle, which I can understand because these are sizable beasts, and they can be pretty intimidating, especially if you've seen them run or if one has ever charged at you. Of course, every so often you hear reports of people bumping into aggressive cattle, but that's rare, and when there is trouble, it's usually because there are calves nearby and the moms are being protective. Or, more often, people have let their dogs off the leash and the cows get spooked by the canines. Either way, it's always wise to give the cattle a wide berth and pay close attention to what kind of cows you're dealing with. One time we were coming across a field that was full of cows, and we were trying to give them a wide berth, and a guy coming the other direction said, "Don't worry, these are all females, but if you see a pair of nuts, run like hell." Luckily, I don't tend to see many bulls on my walks. The big males tend to be behind fences, so in general there's no need to panic. I can just stick to my usual walking pace, a casual amble up and over the downs, knowing that if it's not cattle I see, it'll be sheep, or deer, or horses, or donkeys, or alpacas. Like I said, animals of all shapes and sizes. Hey, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.